Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 7 of our favorite female-fronted bands of all time. That's right, we're both playing along. I'm listing my 30 favorite bands here each and every day in the month of November that are fronted by a female. Could be two females in some instances, right? And you guys are doing the exact same thing in the comments below. So today, we're going to take a look at a band that I think most people knew eventually that this group was coming, because I've talked very fondly about these guys before. They've been around since 1965 is when they debuted on the scene. The album I'm going to kind of hone in on one album today, although you really could pick any of their albums as clear winners in their catalog. But I'm going to go with, of course, the band is the Jefferson Airplane. Surrealistic Pillow is the name of the album. And, of course, there's Miss Grace Slick right there. Right? Very cool band. Like I said, came out in the middle of the kind of like psychedelic scene. Of course, the band from California. This is the first album with Grace Slick on co-lead vocals, because of course she shared the lead vocal slot in this band with Marty Balin. So you had Marty Balin and Grace Slick on vocals and other odd instruments, right? Because they both played, Grace played some keyboards, Marty played a little guitar and things. Jack Cassidy on bass guitar, Spencer Dryden on drums, Paul Kantner on rhythm guitar, and of course Jorma Kaukonen on lead guitar. Skip Spence also played a little drums on a few tracks on here. Okay, you got the former singer, Signe Tully Anderson, I believe. She's also appears on one track on here as well. The original singer who Grace kind of took over for. So, and lots of great songs on this album. I mean, this album, considered by many one of the staples of the late 60s psychedelic scene here in the U.S. Somebody to Love, of course, the big, huge hit on this album. Great anthem. You've got Embryonic Journey, very typical of psychedelic rock of the late 60s. And, of course, the haunting classic White Rabbit, which for me is just one of the all-time great songs. But, She Has Funny Cars is also great on here. Coming Back to Me is another good one. Plastic Fantastic Lover. I mean, this album is just littered with very cool kind of psychedelic rock and pop tracks. And Grace Slick's vocals are just absolutely tremendous. Her and Marty made a terrific dual vocal team. And they would continue that in Jefferson Starship, which obviously you likely will see again this month. They continue that in that band, and then also after Marty left, we had Grace and Mickey Thomas, right, who also formed another great dual vocal team. But we'll talk about that at a later date. But there's other albums in this discography that I like quite a bit. Crown of Creation is another favorite of mine. Like that quite a bit. I love the Volunteers album, by the way. If you are a Jefferson Airplane fan and maybe don't have all of their albums on CD, these are obviously two great collections, and if they're even still available, I don't know. I've had these for a number of years, but this basically collects everything from the original era, all on little mini LP type things, right? So very cool stuff. One of the things I love so much about Grace Slick, I think if you, obviously I wasn't old enough to go see them in concert back in the day, but I've seen plenty of live footage of Jefferson Airplane from the late 60s into the early 70s. Specifically the Altamont and Woodstock footage. And what a great frontwoman she was. Really had the crowd in the palm of her hands. I mean, she was just a gorgeous woman with a great voice. She had very cool hair, and she knew how to work a crowd, and she knew how to kind of lead the band into all sorts of things, which I think is what a front person, man or woman, needs to do. But she could do the very kind of soft and angelic type of vocals. I mean, White Rabbit is a perfect example of all the facets that she had in her arsenal. How the beginning, it's kind of like mysterious and soft, and then it builds and builds, right? And towards the end, she's just howling, right? And it's like, oh, it's so good. And I think we saw lots of that throughout the catalog of the Airplane as well as the Starship. And just what a great vocal range she always had. And yeah, so this is all about Grace today. And again, Marty's amazing too. But I wanted to obviously make this all about the females. And yeah, like I said, she is all over all these albums in a really, really good way. And I kind of wish, because I always think of Grace Slick as one of the all-time iconic rock female vocalists, and not just specifically of the 60s psychedelic scene. I just think, she's just, you think of great female singers in rock and roll history. Grace Slick always has to be there, right? Always has to be there. And I wish I was old enough to have seen her back in the early days. I probably had chances to see the Starship. Yeah, I certainly did. But by the time like the early 80s were coming, or late 70s, early 80s, I was into other stuff. So even if I had opportunities to see Jefferson Starship, I probably wouldn't have gone back then. Now I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I should have, because that would have been really cool. But yeah, it would have been cool to see. I've always said, people always ask me, Pete, what's like one historic concert in rock and roll history that you would have loved to have been to if you can hop in a time machine and go back? And I've been saying for as long as I can remember that it would be Woodstock, 1969. And actually, when Woodstock was going on in 1969, we were actually an hour away from there, up for the weekend, because this was right before we moved to our home in Goshen, New York. It was actually a summer home that my grandparents had bought, way back before then. And we were actually up in Goshen, New York for the weekend at the summer home the weekend of Woodstock. So my parents have vivid memories of like all the cars trying to head up to Bethel, New York, right, on the Thruway and on Route 17, and cars being left all over the place and people walking, and it's like, but I was 3 years old, so obviously that wasn't happening. But I would have loved to have gone and seen, Hendrix and the Airplane and the Grateful Dead and 10 Years After and Mountain and Santana and all those, the Who, and that would have been so cool. But anyway, that's tales for other days. And for now, this is all about the Jefferson Airplane and Grace Slick, one of the great female-fronted rock bands of all time, one of the great singers of all time, and Grace Slick. So there you have it, everybody. Let us know what you think of Grace Slick and the Airplane down in the comments below, as well as your pick for day 7 here as we count down our top 30 female-fronted rock bands, or female-fronted bands in general. We might have some bands that aren't quite rock here for some folks, right? And so, yeah, giving some love to the ladies this month. And thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all these videos as they post. Please also do hit the like button before you leave. And if you care to make a channel donation, we've got the link below to our Ko-Fi page, as well as our merch page, where we have tons and tons and tons of Sea of Tranquility stuff, all sorts of different shirt designs, hoodies, hats, caps, mugs, stickers, all sorts of stuff. We've got a variety of different designs for all the different shows we do here on the channel, so go investigate that, check it out. And a lot of our stuff is available on Amazon now too, if that's easier for you to order. And I think you might be able to still get some kind of a discount on Amazon. I'm not quite sure what's going on there as of the last week or two, but go investigate. The link is below in the video description. And thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon here. Take care. Bye-bye.